Welcome back, friends, to the home of all things ballroom dance. Okay, today's story I'm going to share is my worst ballroom dance experience in Blackpool. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard of Blackpool. Most of our friends here in our group are ballroom dance competitors. So it is the most prestigious ballroom dance competition in the world. It is held in England every year in the town of Blackpool on the northwest coast. So that is why it's called Blackpool, the Blackpool Dance Festival. Okay, so I actually have several bad experiences there that were somewhat fiascos I'm going to share with you. And this might come as a shock to you, but actually none of them had to do with the actual dancing. Okay, so experience number one. My very first trip to Blackpool, my first time experiencing that competition, competing there. We flew in several weeks early, as I suggest everyone does, not only to acclimate, because the jet lag is a humdinger flying from west to east. I think it's like an 8-hour time difference or something from my home where I live. But anyway, flew in early, and of course you take advantage of that time, not just by, futzing around doing tour stuff, but by getting coaching. And the rules allow you to coach as long as you're not judging that year. And then there's a certain leeway with time. And of course, we would always stay afterwards as well, because then the sky's the limit in terms of coaching, especially since most competitors take that time off because they need a much deserved break. So we were staying that year at Lindsay Hillier's house. This is a former world standard champion. Obviously, the benefit being, not only is it cheaper than staying in a hotel, we can rent one of her rooms. She has a lovely home west of London, but she also has her own ballroom dance studio there. And like many of the top pros, I was kind of shocked because I've never seen this in the United States. I guess to save for tax purposes or something, but they have a pool house in their backyard, or in her case, to the side of her house, that actually has a full dance floor in it. Not comp size, but absolutely just as good as most of the studio floor sizes in my country. I'm broadcasting from the United States. So, we loaded up with lessons with her. We were excited. We had a nice place to stay. And so we drove out there. And in those couple weeks preceding Blackpool, you can't get, that I know of, like floor rental space to practice in any of the studios in London that I know of. But Cheam, which is in eastern side of London, does offer comp rounds. They are packed to the gills. But you get to practice rounds for an hour, and they take turns in heats. So maybe you'll get to do 2 or 3 waltzes, 2 or 3 tangos. And it's a really stuffed floor. It's not full comp size, but oh my gosh, just great, if anything, to work out the nerves and to see your friends. Because many of us are friends internationally in the ballroom dance competition world. You just get to know people. We have a shared passion. We often share the same coaches, kind of the same lifestyle. So that's super fun to get there early, see them, chit chat during the rounds, and then work those nerves out on that floor. Now at that time, there were no like in-car navigation systems. Like now you can just do Google Maps on your phone. Okay. So I'm as old as the hills. So this is pre-iPhone, pre-car navy systems. Okay. So we're just flying blind on the roads there. Literally like print out maps you get at the Tesco, which is like kind of their version of Chevron gas stations, I guess. Trying to navigate the streets of England and London, which to an American, and we are kind of a pre-industrial society, in terms of our road system, where it's often, cities. Like I personally think Utah is the best. It's literally like a grid system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there it felt, and to this day to me, as not being born there, feels a little bit like someone took a hammer to a windshield and just went, there's the roads. And London's kind of like the center of the impact, and everything just kind of goes in a crazy spiral out of there. Okay, so we were totally lost. So, of course, it's dark by the time we get done with our rounds. So we head back out to Lindsay Hillier's house. Yay. Get totally lost on the way. Lost beyond lost. We must have got back there. It was after midnight, guys. It was late. And mind you, we had flown in that day. So to say we were exhausted with the jet lag would be understatement of the century. Okay. Now, we can't get back into the house. We have this giant, like, old school key, which looks like it came out of the year 1600. Like, it's like this big. We can't figure out how to unlock the door. What are we going to do? Bang on the door of a former world champion? Hey, let us in. Wiki, wiki. She'll think we're crazy. We've been out partying. Like, she's native to that area. She wouldn't understand. We just are so lost. Crazy lost. So we're like, we sit out in the car, like, praying someone else is going to drive in. I think Erminio Stefano was the only other person staying there at the time. Another competitor. He was a pro at the time. At that time, we were amateurs. So we sit out there and we are dead tired. Maybe we just sleep in the car. So we're out there for like 2 more hours. Neither of us has got a wink of sleep. And we are dead. I mean, we feel sick. We are so exhausted. So again, no navigation system. We don't even know how to find a hotel, but we're like, clearly we need beds. We're going to die. So we just hit the road, right? Driving randomly. It took at least an hour because at this point, we're not in the heart of London. We're out west. So finally we stumble into a hotel. This is not in our budget, but we're just desperate here. So credit card, here we come. So we get the hotel room. Now at this point, we're afraid we're going to get lost on the way back. So we get up at the crack of dawn. Our first coaching session with her was like 8 a.m. At this point, it must have been 3 a.m. So we set the alarm for like maybe 5:30, 6 a.m. We slam like 2 hours of sleep. And at this point, we are in the same clothes we wore from the time we got on the airplane, like at this point, 2 days ago. We are nasty. We feel disgusting. I'm in the shower washing my underwear like it was, I just can't even describe to you how filthy and exhausted we were. So we did make it back to her house in time. And she's like, where'd you guys go last night? So she knew we didn't come back. And we were like, we got a little lost. We stayed at a hotel. We did pay her for that night, but that was unpleasant to say the least. And then we had a full day of lessons booked with her and some other folks down at Cheam. So to say these weren't the best investment of our lessons that day as well, when we are spent and feel disgusting, is understated. That was a bad experience. Okay, that's not my only experience. I'm going to actually, guys, I'm hitting that 10-minute mark. I apologize. I'm going to have to share another video on this because I have a couple more humdingers to share with you. But yeah, that's my story, number 1, horror story from Blackpool. Yeah, glad I don't have to relive that 48 hours. So I hope you found that story to be entertaining. Hey, if you have a comp story that's really ugly, doesn't have to be Blackpool, hey, just throw me a bone and share the story below, so I don't feel like the only one who's ever encountered an absolute disaster when I get to the comp. I think we'd all be entertained by that. And hey, if something crazy's happened to you, just know you're not the only one. It happens to all of us. Crazy stuff like that's happened to my own coaches. I'll probably share one of those stories too, because it's entertaining, hindsight's 2020. We can always laugh about it. So hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for dancing with me today, talking about dance with me today. If you enjoy all things ballroom dance, hey, subscribe to our channel. I share daily videos, cultural topics. I share weekly ballroom dance technique videos, and I share my own personal stories from my crazy 40 years in the world of ballroom dance, where, I was a studio owner. I started out as a newcomer, amateur, all the way through pro championship level of competition. Longtime ballroom dance teacher. I'm happy to share my stories. If you have any questions, maybe you're afraid to ask your ballroom dance teacher, or maybe you just don't want to waste your, expensive lesson time hearing, something about the ballroom dance world. Hey, hit me up here and I'll share a video with you guys, because I'm sure if you have the question, there's many other people that do too. So if you found that to be interesting or fun, hey, hit that like button, because I get so excited every time I see a little like button. You have no idea. It makes my day. And thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing you first thing in the morning. Have a great day, guys. Bye.